Zvobudiswa Kuti Chiwenga Avhundusira Mnangagwa Ndosaka Atiza. Zimbabwe, the secret is out. Zimbabwe, you have been hearing the whispers. You have been reading between the lines. You have been watching the body language of the men who used to stand side by side and now cannot be in the same room. Right? We are not whispering anymore. We are saying it loud, we are saying it bold, and we are saying it with receipts. Chiwenga Avhundusira Mnangagwa Ndosaka Atiza Munyika. Chiwenga frightened Mnangagwa. That is why he fled the country. This is not rumor. This is not opposition propaganda. This is what the facts, the timeline, the appointments, the sermons, the silences, and the midnight flights are all screaming at the top of their lungs. Sit down, pay attention, because this broadcast is going to change how you see everything that has been happening in Harare, Zimbabwe. Two snakes in one basket, the deal that built a precedence. Right? To understand why Mnangagwa is running scared of Chiwenga, you have to go back to the beginning, back to November 2017, when the tanks rolled through Harare and Robert Mugabe, a man who had ruled Zimbabwe for 37 years, was swept from power in a military coup that dared not call itself a coup. Who drove those tanks? Constantino Chiwenga. Who benefited from those tanks? Emmerson Mnangagwa. And what was the deal that made it happen? The understanding, never written down, never officially announced, but understood by every political insider in Harare. Was this Chiwenga delivers the military? Mnangagwa gets the presidency. Mnangagwa serves his 2 terms, and in 2028, the torch gets passed. That was the pact. That was the foundation of the Second Republic. And for years, it held, quietly, tensely, but it held, until Mnangagwa decided the deal no longer applied to him. It is widely believed that a power-sharing agreement was forged during the 2017 transition, stipulating that Mnangagwa would serve 2 terms before handing over the reins to Chiwenga. The ED 2030 agenda is therefore perceived by many as a direct repudiation of the unwritten pact, effectively blocking Chiwenga's path to the presidency. That is the war, Zimbabwe. Everything, every appointment, every secret flight, every sermon, every intelligence operation is downstream of that single broken promise. Right? The sermon that shook the state. The sermon that shook the state house. Chiwenga does not scream. He does not post angry tweets. He does not call press conferences to air his grievances. He is a soldier. He is precise. And when he wants to send a message that the whole world can hear without being able to accuse him of anything, he goes to church. In April 2026, Vice President Chiwenga delivered what many politicians and analysts are calling the most calculated speech of the entire Cape 3 crisis. Standing at a public gathering, he invoked the biblical story of King Hezekiah, a king who prayed for extra years of life, received them, and then used those extra years to bring ruin to his kingdom and leave a catastrophic legacy for his children. The parallel drawn by Chiwenga was stark. The pursuit of extra years, interpreted as a 3rd presidential term or the 2030 plot, could inadvertently usher in a period of ruin or produce a Manasseh-like legacy for Zimbabwe. His warning, extra years are not always a blessing, functions as a potent political metaphor, hinting at the potentially catastrophic consequences of clinging to power beyond a divinely or constitutional appointed time. Now, imagine you are Emmerson Mnangagwa. You are the president. Your own vice president, the man who put you in that chair, is standing in front of a crowd telling a biblical story about a leader who grabbed extra years and destroyed his own legacy. And everyone in the room knows exactly who he is talking about. Chiwenga's public criticism and alleged refusal to chant the ED 2030 campaign slogan are significant indicators of a growing rift at the highest echelons of power. The man is not chanting your slogan. He is not attending your rallies with enthusiasm. He is quoting script against you, and he has the army in his back pocket. Unoda kutiza here. Would you not also want to flee? Unoda kutiza. Right. While Chiwenga was firing warning shots through sermons and silences, Mnangagwa's camp was not sitting still. They were running their own operation, and its name, circulating in Harari's intelligence circles, tells you everything. Move on, Chiwenga. He has become a shorthand for a coordinated strategy by Mnangagwa's loyalists to systematically diminish the vice president's influence within both the military and the party. This strategy reportedly involves a series of political maneuvers, legislative changes such as CAP 3 and strategic appointments designed to isolate Chiwenga and pave the way for Mnangagwa's extended rule. And there is more. The Central Intelligence Organization is reportedly monitoring the vice president's secret meetings with army generals. Listen to that again, Zimbabwe. The president of Zimbabwe has his intelligence services watching his own vice president, monitoring his meetings, tracking who he is speaking to. This is not a political disagreement. This is two factions of the same government conducting active intelligence operations against each other. In response to these perceived threats, some factions within the military and Chiwenga's supporters have begun to invoke the term Third Chiwenga, a potential uprising or correction aimed at saving the party from what they term capture by Mnangagwa's business associates, particularly Kudata Gray. The Third Chiwenga, the word is being used in 2026 in boardrooms and barracks and back rooms across Harare. People are talking about a correction, and the man who would lead that correction, the man whose name is on everyone's lips when those conversations happen, is the same man whose sermons are keeping Mnangagwa awake at night. Let's talk about the Svanda Gambit, Mnangagwa's deadly chess move. When we covered General Philip Valerio Svanda's appointment to the ZANU-PF Politburo on May 11, we told you it was a strategic move. Now we are telling you exactly what strategy it serves, because it is aimed directly at Chiwenga's throat. The elevation of General Svanda to the ZANU-PF Politburo is being widely interpreted as a calculated and potent strategic maneuver by President Mnangagwa, aimed squarely at curtailing the political ambitions of his vice president. Svanda's appointment sends a clear message. There is now a second retired military figure in the Politburo, one who is not Chiwenga, one who is loyal to Mnangagwa, and one who fractures the narrative that the military establishment speaks with one voice. Brilliant? Well, yes. Dangerous? Well, absolutely. Because Chiwenga is not a man who receives chess moves and simply accepts defeat. A deepening power contest is emerging within Zimbabwe's leadership, as Chiwenga takes an apparent swipe at politically connected business elites aligned with Mnangagwa, the so-called Zgananda, controversial ZANU-PF-linked entrepreneurs accused of benefiting from state contracts despite lacking liberation war credentials. This is the battle line. On one side, the war veterans, the liberation struggle purists, the military establishment, Chiwenga's base. On the other, the entrepreneurs, the new money, the businessmen around Mnangagwa who funded his political machine and now want their investment protected by keeping him in power indefinitely. It is not just about two men. It is about two visions of what Zimbabwe is supposed to be. Right? The Attorney General fires a warning and everyone knows who it is for. Right? Attorney General Virginia Mabiza issued an unequivocal ultimatum to cabinet members: support CAP 3 publicly or resign. This directive was widely interpreted as a direct challenge to Vice President Chiwenga, whose opposition to the proposed constitutional changes has become increasingly evident. Think about the audacity of that move. The Attorney General, a Mnangagwa ally, publicly warning cabinet members to fall in line or get out. In any normal government, the vice president is the second most powerful person in the executive. You do not issue public ultimatums to the vice president through the attorney general unless you are afraid of him, unless the vice president is the whole point. By forcing Chiwenga to trade his uniform for a suit, Mnangagwa subjected him to the party's disciplinary codes and administrative hierarchies, a process of bureaucratic neutralization designed to remove his military authority and bring him under party control. But here is where Mnangagwa's plan is fatal flaw. You cannot fully civilianize a man whose power was never civilian in origin. Chiwenga did not rise through party structures. He did not campaign for votes. He moved tanks, and the men who command tanks still know whose name meant something when those engines started. Right. Ramaphosa's warning, no more coups in this region. Right. The regional dimension of this crisis cannot be overstated. When South African President Cyril Ramaphosa made his mysterious private visit to Mnangagwa's farm in Kwekwe on May 3, the official story was maize fields and stocked dams. The real story was far more serious. An intelligence official familiar with the exchange stated, Ramaphosa said South Africa and SADC will not tolerate another coup in Zimbabwe. That is very clear and well understood by all involved, including Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, who is locked in a succession battle with Mnangagwa. Ramaphosa flew to a private farm to personally deliver a message. The region is watching, and another 2017 will not be allowed. That message was for both men. For Mnangagwa to stop provoking the crisis that is making a coup tempting. For Chiwenga, the tanks stay in the barracks. Whether either man listened is the question that will define Zimbabwe's next chapter. Atiza Munyika, Zimbabwe. The midnight flight explained. And so we return to where we started. Ndosaka Atiza Munyika. That is why he fled the country. A president who has spent $500 million flying in luxury jets to Moscow and Minsk. A president who cannot be found at the farewell dinner of his most loyal Chief Justice. A president whose own spokesperson refuses to confirm or deny basic details about his whereabouts. A president who is reportedly avoiding direct meetings with his own vice president. This is not a leader operating from a position of strength. This is a leader who knows that the ground beneath his feet is unstable, that the man he made his deputy still commands more respect in the barracks than he does, that Cab 3 has fractured his own party, and that the only allies who have no questions about his power grab are sitting in Moscow and Minsk. For Chiwenga to move against Mnangagwa directly, he would have to either rule by force and risk total international pariah status and SADC intervention, or navigate the party's internal structures and wait. Chiwenga is a patient man. He waited from 1980. He can wait a little longer, and Mnangagwa knows it. The bottom line, this is Zimbabwe's defining moment, Zimbabwe. Right. The secret is out. The man who put Mnangagwa in power is now the man Mnangagwa fears most. The biblical sermons, the refusal to chant the slogan, the meetings with generals, the warning shots at the tenderpreneurs, the quite steady, disciplined build-up of a man who has done this before and succeeded. Right. Cab 3 will likely pass in parliament. ZANU-PF has the numbers, but passing a law and governing a country that is turned against you, including the man who commands the loyalty of the institution that ultimately decides who rules Zimbabwe, are two entirely different things. History does not repeat in Zimbabwe, but it does rhyme. And right now, 2026 is rhyming very loudly with 2017. Pano pamzinda wevanhu, we will be here for every verse. Subscribe pamzinda wevanhu pa YouTube channel pedu kana muri pa Facebook. Zimbabwe's most fearless voice. Tisu, do you think Chiwenga will make his move? Chikwestion is the third Chimurenga coming, or will Mnangagwa outmaneuver him? Drop your hottest take in the comments, smash the like button, share this broadcast, and support independent journalism through join and super thanks. Harare is watching, the region is watching, and pano pamzinda wevanhu, we are also watching with you. Thank you for watching.